Hello, you're blessed coming in and you're blessed going out. Okay, so quick story about my friend's aunt that went through some horrible things with a friend, someone she considered a friend. So, without saying too much, let me just get into the story. This, my friend's aunt, her name is Monique. Monique had a friend which was her colleague, later just became like friends because from working together they became close. So her name is her name is Rita. So Rita was Monique's friend. They visit each other, became like a little bit like family friends because their children now knew each other. Other family members knew this Monique from Rita's side. Monique's people knew Rita, so they were close to some extent. But this friendship was not really the kind of friendship you would say like a real friendship, because Rita had some kind of character traits that were not nice at all. She gossiped a lot. She was someone who did not want to see someone progress, and even her friendship with Monique had a lot of holes, a lot of like jealousy, like this enemy vibe type of friendship where they connected well and they hung out and they were like cool. They were good friends, per se, quote and unquote good friends. But Monique will always hear things that Rita will say behind her back, and even the Monique will say things like, yeah, I know she gossiped a lot, I don't trust her. And then people will ask her, why are you still friends with her? Some people will outrightly tell her, this Rita is not a friend, she's nobody's friend, she's a very bad person. But Monique will always just make excuses for her and say, like, I don't need anything from her, she's good company from time to time, and then that's fine. But this was someone she had allowed into her home. She comes to the house, she brings things from Monique's children. They go out, they hang out and all that. So while all this was going on, Monique has a daughter, one and only daughter, that was like 7, 8 years. This daughter began to have, like, from out of nowhere, started having like health issues where she just faints out of the blue, fainting spells. And then when she faints, they rush her to the hospital. It would be like the girl was passing away, like she was, like, her life was leaving her. Then she gets rushed to the hospital, gets treated, and then she responds to the treatment, and then she's brought back home and discharged maybe like a day. Just something that just like an attack. I'm avoiding the word, but let's just call it that, like an attack. So she started having these things. They did all kinds of tests, nothing to really show that there was something wrong with her medically, but the girl was experiencing this. So the family was very concerned because it came from nowhere and you don't know when the girl could just, and because of that they had to monitor her, they had to have her close all the time. Sometimes it will take weeks, she won't have them, and then all of a sudden you just sit down and watch the girl zone out, like her eyes will just like go like back into her head. Then the next thing she faint like that. So it was something that was really worrisome for the family. So this continued and they were looking for a solution, wondering what was wrong with the child. This Monique and Rita continued being friends. Next thing, this Monique had a sister that was, she was with her a lot of times, but she was in boarding school also. So it was her younger sibling. So she was like a teenager. She called her sister auntie and all that, like my aunt, but it was her younger sister. This younger sister was like lived with them, but most times she would be in school like that. So this younger sister happened to start having the same medical issues also. Like she would just faint, sometimes she shiver, just like an attack. So when she started having this, the girl, the Monique's daughter, stopped having it for a while. So it was like there was a switch, which was very strange. What's going on? Why is this girl experiencing this thing? And this is weird sickness. As soon as they take them to the hospital, revive them, give them some injections or even a drip, the next day they are fine, like nothing ever happened. And there's no trace of this was what they went through, or there's no like progressive recovery where they were recovering little by no. Just something comes on them, they have that experience, and then after they get attended to, they revive back and they're fine again. and then it's like it's forgotten because it's like this was just an incident, and then out of the blue one day it happens again. Very mysterious. Okay, so when the sister started having this, she had it like a few times, and then one day she came to the family, her sister, and then other people that were there, and she began to cry and confess. She said she had something to say, that she knows the origin of the daughter's, her sister's daughter, which was her niece, her little niece's problems, that that's why she's having it also. Then she told them that what was wrong with her, like her story, her confession was that she was initiated into a cult, and that cult wanted her to sacrifice the little girl, which was her niece, to sacrifice her sister's daughter, because like because of blood, and because she lived with them and she was like the woman's daughter and called her auntie. She had some level of authority over her younger sibling, and all this was done by Rita. She told them Rita was the one that did it. Everybody was shocked and surprised. Monique was acting like she couldn't quite believe, like she was doubting, is it true, is it not true, and all that. That they didn't take it seriously. Is this true? Okay, let's find a way to deal with this. Wow, Monique is actually a witch, or all that. No, nobody took it that seriously. Even the Monique that was like the direct victim of this, the daughter, of course, was small. She didn't know what was going on. Nobody called her to tell her anything. But the grown-ups that the sister confessed to did not take it as seriously as they should. Especially Monique, who was the one suffering this, and who was the connection to the Rita person. So it became like something that they were saying behind Rita's back. Like everyone was just gossiping about her. Like, wow, she's a witch. Or, they didn't take it like from a spiritual perspective, like this is warfare, let's fight. Wow, so this is what's going on with my child or my family, let me do something. She kept on being the Rita's friend, like kind of like, let me keep her close and watch her, let me watch. Like she was doubting. Maybe let's say it was 50-50 for her. She was trying to believe, she didn't quite believe, but she didn't. How would you argue with someone's experience? This was someone's confession. This was a confession her own sister made. This thing continued. The Rita kept coming to the house, but she took like measures to like kind of be more careful around the Rita. Like when Rita brings edible things, she doesn't allow her children eat it. She will take it, throw them away. Like when Rita maybe wants to take some of maybe her clothing, she would always say no. Just like being careful around her, like I don't trust you, and now I don't trust you even more because of what I've heard about you. So they will always like talk around Rita, talk behind her back, but they didn't really take it as seriously as they should have. So this girl, when after she made this confession, not too long, Rita came to the house and she brought like things for the children. Like when someone that is being called auntie in her friend's house shows up with snacks and like just little gifts for the children, when they come and go, auntie welcome, and then she gives them, take, this is what I brought for you. So she came in, and when she came in, she had like some chocolates. Then when she came in, she called Monique's daughter, the one that she has only one daughter anyway. So she called the Monique's daughter and opened one of the chocolates and gave Monique's daughter, and then went to see Monique. When she entered the house to see Monique, she gave her the remaining things that she brought. I said, I brought this for the children and all. And then she thanked her her usual ways. Let me keep it. When she's gone, I'll throw them away. Only for after a while, she had been there for a while, her daughter walked in and she was eating chocolate. She was almost done eating the chocolate. And then she said, who gave you chocolate? And she said, Auntie Rita. I said, yeah, if I gave her chocolate. And then the mom grabbed it from her hand and said, why didn't you come and show me for eating? Haven't I told you to stop collecting things without and eating without showing me? Just like she was trying to hide it from Rita, like I'm just disciplining my child, it's nothing about you. I told you, like they're hiding it from her but talking behind her back. When she collected it, she was really upset, but she didn't really want Rita to think that, oh, you're calling me a witch, or you don't trust me, or whatever. So she collected the chocolate and said, I'm going to punish you because of that, you're not going to eat. So Rita was like, allow her eat it. And she said, no, I want to train her so she doesn't collect anything from anyone and eat without my permission. And that ended there. The Rita stayed, left, everything seemed fine. 2 days later, the baby girl, the Monique's daughter, had a major crisis. Like the fainting spells and the zoning out and whatever that she had before, this one was like a major one, and she fell out immediately and began to foam at the mouth. Then they rushed her to the hospital. When they rushed her to the hospital, as soon as they got to the hospital, the doctor came. He was already used to her condition. When they bring her, he knows what to do. He knows what to inject her with and how to revive her. As soon as he saw her, the way she was, she laid, they brought her in. He came, checked her, and pronounced her left, gone. Because of YouTube, I don't want to mention the word. Okay, so the mother was complete. She lost it. She began to cry. She fell on the ground. She was rolling because it felt to her like she would have done something to stop her daughter from experiencing this. Everything came back to her. She remembered the day of the chocolate. She remembered, because you know when something is happening, especially if you're a believer, but you're not really, God will put it on your heart, or like your spirit will kind of ring an alarm on the inside, an invisible alarm on the inside, to say this is not okay. She did not feel good when her daughter did that, but like I told you, it's like she was 50-50. You know, when you're hanging around somebody and you have some level of ease with them and everything for you is physical, and they're telling you this person is a witch, she's evil, she's that, they don't really see it, especially if this person claims to be so, because this Monique was so close to her. Even when she had her children, Monique was always there, like helped her during the childbirth. Like she was a very outside, it felt like, wow, this woman was such a good, they were like sisters at the end of the day, only that she had this bad character of gossiping, being envious, and even jealous of the Monique and all that. So she felt like she had failed herself and failed her daughter and let her daughter die. That was the regret, and those are the things she was shouting and saying when she fell down and she was crying in the hospital and saying, I let them kill her, I let them kill her, I should have done something. Like she was really, really, really upset with herself. She cried, she screamed, and then she started crying out to God and saying, God, whoever has done this must come back, must be exposed, will not go free. You know, when people are really upset and sad and they are saying things that really show that they are hurt. So this woman losing her only daughter, the thing really, really, really got to her. And it was like she was running mad, as if she was going to just tear her clothes and run naked in the hospital. So this woman, it's getting dark, but I'm going to continue with the story because I can't wait for them to, I can't wait for the light, and my content creation light is, I don't know if the battery is dead or whatever it's doing, but let me just finish the story if you don't mind. Don't forget about the lighting. Just hear what, because God has put this in on my heart for some days now. I want to really share, just so that people, whoever needs to learn from this, will just learn what they need to learn from it. Anyway, so they took the child back home because it's a child. When they needed to bury her quickly, so there was nothing like mortuary or anything. They took her back home. This woman laid with her dead child on the bed. She refused to sleep anywhere else. She was, in fact, the pain and the grief this woman was going through was something that, if anyone has like a heart, you feel so bad for her and what she was going through. The girl was like her best friend. She said she was saying that the day before the girl left, the girl was following her everywhere. The girl followed her everywhere, and that was already her character. Like, she liked to be around her mother, so she would always joke with her and say, you are tied to my hip, like you're always with me. So she said that day the girl was following her everywhere. She was entering to go and have a bath, and the girl was following her into the bathroom, and she said, go back, I want to go and bath. And she stood at the door waiting for her mother to finish bathing. So she was saying those things in tears and crying, lying down with her dead child. She took the child in. She refused that no one should touch her. When she bathed her daughter, dressed her like a princess, her shoes, socks, everything, and laid her on the bed until the next day when they had finished making the coffin. They put the baby girl in the coffin, and the woman, before they would even cover the coffin and take her to the grave, because they buried her not too far from the house, the did not let them. She was crying. They had to hold her and restrain her so that they can cover the coffin and take the girl to the grave and bury her, and all that. It was really, really sad. It was really sad. The woman, it was like she was saying, she was, no, it wasn't like she was saying, take me with her, take me with her. She didn't want to, like, she had other children which were boys. They were just looking at their mother and they didn't know what to do, and they were all also small children. So this woman went through this. They buried the girl. After they buried the girl, she refused to leave the grave site. She sat there. Finally, they were able to take her away from the graveside. She came back, she slept. The next day in the morning, went back. So it became like her hangout spot. She would just leave the house and no one will know where she has gone to. And then after, when they look for her and don't find her, we go to the child's grave and find her there just crying and wailing. And this woman went through this for some time. Okay. Her friend, the Rita person, when this thing happened, when all this happened, that's when the child left and they brought her home to come and bury. She wasn't around. Just immediately after the burial, but when people will still gather just to come and greet, pay their condolences, spend time with the family, and some family members that traveled and came, to spend time. So the house was still full. The Rita woman came back, and then when she came back, ran to her so-called her friend, quote unquote, and was trying to like cry and fall on her, like cry and show solidarity, like your child is my child, our child is gone, type of like mourn, like it was also her child. And this woman, just when she saw her, she didn't give her the attention that she was supposed to give her, but she was putting on that act and ran towards the woman and held her, and the woman pushed her away. That's her friend Monique, pushed her away. So people around there didn't understand what was going on. Of course, no one knows that story. It was just a story within the family about the initiation and the sacrifice, whatever thing. So when she pushed her away, people just thought that, okay, maybe she wasn't happy with her because they are very close and she wasn't around when something bad happened to her. Some people just felt that maybe she was too grieved and didn't want anyone to bother her, whatever anyone thought. So, but there were like murmurs, like, wow, do you see what happened? See how she pushed her away, like that. So that one took off its own, another gossip session, like what's going on with these two people. Okay, that happened. This man continued going through her sorrow, continued suffering from her child leaving, and sometimes she will not be at home, and then when you look for her and you don't find her, they will just go and check at the grave and find her there, and she would go there cry. This woman cried so much that her eyesight became bad, like she couldn't see well anymore. I don't know if it was just the crying for the child or something else, but it affected her eyesight, to show you how much this woman suffered when she lost this child. Okay, so she went through all of this, and then like a week, or was it like getting to 2 weeks or 2 weeks thereabouts, that her sister, okay, that one also wasn't around when this whole thing happened. Her niece, which was her sister's baby or child, died, and she wasn't around. She had been away in school. So like 2 weeks after this girl's passing, that one just showed up from nowhere. She just appeared, not in the spirits, like she just came impromptu in the house. Like she traveled and came from school, and was just acting like someone who was running mad. She was saying, where's auntie, where's my auntie, and she was looking for her sister. People were looking at her like, what's going on, why is she, so it was like she just came to mourn with her sister. But 2 weeks had gone and people had gone back to their normal lives, and this one is coming with such, she was upset, she was acting weird, she was acting mysterious. There was just something going on with her, and she was saying, where's my sister, where's auntie. So when she went and saw the sister, she started telling her sister that, saying very mysterious things, like why didn't I let them, she was talking like she was saying behind the scenes what had happened to her niece. Why did I let them take them right in front of me? They were taking this child and I couldn't do anything. Why did I let them take them? I'm going to where she's going to. She was saying things like she's talking to that one, and that one was still there with her. She said she can't see anything else but that but the child. That's she can't, her mind is not right anymore, that she's going to where that one is. She just needed to come and tell her auntie about what happened to the child, and that they took her, they were the ones that took her, but that she couldn't do anything to her. She was saying a lot of things that you would not understand, but understanding from the spirit realm, understanding how these things happen, and knowing that about the spirit realm and how these evil people act, you know she's saying the sacrifice that took place behind the scenes. So she was saying those things, and she was kind of, the sister, it was making sense to the sister because the sister witnessed her child living, and she saw what had happened. And this one was saying at that point, that was when they were taking the child. There was, I don't want to say some words because of YouTube YouTube sensitivity. So, but she was explaining how they took the child and what happened with the child, and how and then she was regretting that why didn't she stop them, and saying all kinds of mysterious things. She was confessing and saying it was them, they took the child. And the sister began to cry afresh again. And it was like someone who did something to you. She knew because the girl had confessed, but she didn't take it that seriously. She knew, but now this one came off telling her the process that it all happened. So the sister began to cry. They took the girl away because she was saying things, and this one became grieved again and began to cry like afresh, like the child just left. So they came and took that one away, and they took her to their house. Someone in the family took her, put her in a car, took her to her parents. So this woman cried for like another 2 days non-stop, and then after then she kind of got, I believe, the kind of closure she needed. Like she was now able to, she saw what happened to her child, she stopped blaming herself so much, and then she started getting herself back. You know, the way God works is we go through things in life, then it feels like, God, why did you let this? But he's right there comforting. It is not his will that for a child to die at an early age. It is not a will for a mother to lose their child and cry and be so grieved and be inconsolable, but he's right there. And then if you lean on him, he begins to heal you gradually. This woman began to heal gradually, and people could see her getting herself back. And then, so as she was getting herself back, her son began to have like issues again. And because of what she had gone through, she was not going to wait to see if what was going to go. She quickly sought spiritual help. Someone introduced her to a pastor that came to their house to pray, and the pastor came and prayed in the house. Meanwhile, when she was friends with this Rita, because after the whole burial, like, they were not friends anymore, though she still didn't confront her physically or say anything, or they didn't have like any physical fights. They just drifted apart. It was like this unspoken, I know what you did and I don't want to be around you anymore. And the friendship they drifted apart, of course. So when the son started having those issues, while they were friends, this one, I told you, she brings things to the house, just because she was a friend. She comes to the house, she's like an auntie in the house. She brings things to the house. Sometimes she leaves maybe items in the house, but she brought a particular carving. It was not a painting, a carving, but like a wall painting, an artwork. Thank you, an artwork, but it was her face carved, and then she brought it, and then her friend hung it in the house, and they were living in the house with that one picture. So even after everything had happened, her mind did not go there to say she wants to maybe like cleanse her house or even get rid of that one's carving. It was just still there, like one of the decorations. It was a nice carving. It was a beautiful artwork, though. So the son started having these issues, and this Monique's husband is the type that does not believe in spiritual things. This kinds of people who just, they feel like everything is physical. You can't start telling them, a witch did this or a witch. They don't listen. So it was just left for the Monique to fight that warfare, that spiritual warfare by herself, or even try to convince him if she can. Anyway, and even she was not so knowledgeable, but these things were the events were opening her eyes. So when her son started having those issues, she quickly sought help, and then someone introduced her to a pastor, came to the house and prayed. When he came, prayed for her children, prayed for the house, anointed the house, then he noticed that carving, and he said, "What's that carving?" And then they told her, "No, it's this person." He said, "Take it out immediately." He said that that's a potter, that's not an ordinary carving. So they took the carving out and discarded it, got rid of it. Then the son miraculously stopped having those issues, and everything was fine again. She went on to recover from everything she had been through. God helped her. She got another child, a girl again. Meanwhile, on this other side, this woman was going through her own issues. Meanwhile, this Rita woman, not too long after this child had gone, like for not up to a year, she just mysteriously lost her son, also her first son. And the way her own happened was, it was so bad for her because she was not really in good terms with her husband. Her marriage wasn't going so well. Of course, if one is a witch, they are already spiritually, they are not submitted. Physically, they are not submitted. Their kingdom is not of peace. So anyway, she was having that marital problem with her husband. So when the child died, the man did not even wait for her or seek her opinion, and she wasn't around. He just took the child and took the child to his place, and that's his hometown, and buried the child without her consent, without even letting her know or letting her in on it. She knew, yes, and she was going to come, but he didn't include her in his plans. And they buried the child before she got to the place. And even people talking like, "Oh, where is the mother of this child?" and all that was a shame for her. So she was really, really upset. She was angry at the husband, got angry, took her other child, she had another boy, and left the man and left her marriage. Then while all this was going on, this Monique woman, God was restoring her life for her. Just think of when Jesus was walking and he saw a widow that had lost her only son, and Jesus felt so much compassion for her that he stopped and raised the child from the dead. So you would see that in scripture and understand that even when one is grieving, and God can see and understand that this person needs compassion or needs help, you know that his help and his compassion is with that person. So this woman went on to start living her life again, and she had another girl, another baby. But after this whole thing happened, Monique resigned from the job, so they were not seeing each other anymore. But if you check the life of the Monique woman now, and that's Rita that did all those things to her, the Rita is in worse situation than the Monique that she was doing witchcraft against. So, like the Bible says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers. The Bible says we should be as gentle as those, but be as wise as serpents. So if this woman had been more like vigilant spiritually, she saw all the evil character traits that the Rita had, but kept her as a friend. She trusted her with her family, opened her doors to her, gave her access to her family. That's the reason why she went through all the things that she went through. She was friends with a witch. Even the jealousy and the gossip and the very evil things she said behind Monique's back, that Monique heard, and she knew that yes, she was saying those things behind her back, she still did not cut her off. She still did not close her doors to her. She allowed her in and kept on being her friend. Number one mistake. The secondly, when the God opened the daughter's mouth to really say, look at what is going on. This is what this woman wants me to do. She has initiated her and all that. They heard and still took it like something they would just talk about behind the woman's back, instead of really standing up and doing warfare. Cleanse your home from whatever you had allowed in, because you allowed a witch in, and the witch became like a part of your family, and the witch was had access to the children, was doing all kinds of, being like their second mom. They were calling her auntie. She had some level of authority in the house. That's why she could even attack that one's child, but she couldn't take her out, and she needed someone in the house that shared the same bloodline with her to be able to take her out. She had to bring the mom's sister in, so they can use her to say, okay, sacrifice this child to the coven. And very, very tragic when the woman tells the story. When you hear the story, and she really breaks it down, and the things that she was going through, that could have all been avoided if she was just sober and vigilant. If she had marked her territory and said, no, if you are a witch, or if you have like, you are a gossip, you're this jealous person, I want nothing to do with you, darkness and light can't dwell together, she would have avoided a lot of things that she had to go through. So I don't know who God is speaking with, but if you notice someone who loves to gossip, who loves to be, to exhibit this jealous traits, that in a silent competition with you, they are around you, but they have this negative energy, a lot. Though you have like maybe good friendships, good discussions with them, you hang out well and all that, but they have like this evil character and attributes about them. Don't keep them around. Their negative energy is enough to just cloud things for you and bring in problems for you, to your space, to your home, to your job, to whatever, because the enemy steals, kills, and destroys. Another thing is, the enemy initiates people and has all these covens, all these witches, so that he can have them as agents to plant them where he wants to attack. The woman was just a vessel being used, but this is where she had access. So here that they had given her access, she needed to strike. She needed to do something for the kingdom of darkness, and that was what she was ended up doing. And the aim, they went for that child, because the woman will always say, this child is my best friend. She will always tell her, this child is my best friend, this child is like my only child. And she will always tell her how she cherishes that child. So they wanted to strike her where it will hurt the most. And then the next thing is how you take what the enemy throws at you still matters. Because if you take it too bad and become so weak spiritually, or even turn away from God, or try to seek revenge the wrong way, or try to seek revenge, period. We don't revenge, or try to seek revenge, or do anything negative, you open the door even wider for them to come in and then take the rest of the children, wreck the life even more. But the good thing is, after everything this woman went through, it was mostly regrets, because she saw how God tried to open her eyes to see what was happening around her, and yet she did not pay attention to it. So when she saw her son began to have attacks again, she did not run to the hospital. She ran to the throne. She ran to God, and that was how she was able to rise up spiritually and fight for her home and the rest of her children, and even her job. She resigned from that job. She left the job just to avoid that woman, and all that. So just the importance of spiritual warfare, of not being casual and letting things pass. You hear things that are very, very spiritually dangerous, like warnings, even dreams, and then just wave it aside and say, don't mind her, don't trust her, and still keep her around and have her around your children. It really, really cost her what she was not willing to pay or give. We will learn from others' mistakes, we learn from our mistakes, we learn from others' mistakes, and may God continue to protect us. This is not to be afraid of maybe witches or people who are in darkness or not. It's just when you are ignorant that you give them free rein. The moment you know, the woman before I began to avoid the Monique, when she saw that in fact, when the carving was destroyed, when she saw that the woman was no longer that weak woman that she could just do things to, she was the one that began to avoid her first. She avoided anything concerning her and all that. Though the Monique, not like she wanted to have any relationship with her, but she noticed the woman went out of her way to not come to where she was anymore, because she had been found out. The thief is caught, they'll pay back sevenfold. She had been found out. Now there are targeted prayers towards all her activities, and all the things that she planted in the house were they were all gone and all that. So the woman rose to her authority in the spirit, and this woman, what would she do? She had no power anymore there. So at the end of the day, if a weak Christian, or a Christian that becomes a victim, is a Christian that is ignorant, or just lazy, or complacent, or just negligent. That's a Christian that becomes a victim.